Get over to the Critical Drinker. Subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you.
You know, reviewing the cinematic calamity that is the Acolyte is a bit like being one of those poor guys shoveling radioactive debris off the roof at Chernobyl.
I was wondering what
you
was
have to
going
limit
on.
your exposure time, otherwise it's a one-way trip to Moscow for you, comrades. Anyway, since I've taken it upon myself to document the full scale of this disaster piece for as long as my brain and liver can hold up, it's onwards and downwards with episode 2. 30 minutes of TV, which I'm relatively convinced was written by a group of chimpanzees with learning difficulties. The episode opens with strong female antagonists sneaking into a Jedi temple on generic planet number 4271. This is where she encounters token white guy who's floating
with the horrible makeup and haircut
in the middle of the room meditating or something. And let's just take a moment to appreciate this guy's character design, shall we? I didn't think it was possible to simultaneously look like an old man and a small child, but apparently they found a way to make it happen.
I told you. I knew that was coming. I'm like, everybody's talking about how horrible that looked. Like, it looks like you can even see kind of like where they put the on right here. Oh my God, it's terrible. I'm just like, it looks like a young guy that they made up to look old. Why not just get an older guy? Or just make him a younger Jedi? That rhymed to play the game bars.
We also learn later in the episode that token white guy's been here for more than 10 years and hasn't spoken a word to anyone that whole time. So, like, has he just been floating here in the middle of the room for a decade? How does he eat? Or sleep? Or take a force dump? Or just...
Doesn't need to. He's in force homeostasis. Don't you know anything?
Am I allowed to just abandon their responsibilities and go in the huff for 10 years with no repercussions or official punishment? Who knows? The showrunners almost certainly don't, because I'm willing to bet their thinking on this one didn't extend much beyond, wouldn't it be cool if strong female antagonist has to kill a Jedi, but he's protected by a magical bullshit force field, so she has to find another way to kill him instead? So anyway, strong female antagonist does her patented come at me bro routine.
Yeah.
Attack me.
So corny. So corny.
Yeah. Tries to kill token white guy, but he's protected by a magical bullshit force field, and all her attacks just kind of bounce off him.
Yeah.
I love how the force has gone from this subtle mystical power that gives people some limited influence on the physical world to just full-on magic that can do whatever the script needs it to. Truly, George Lucas must be proud of what they've done with his creation. Now, you might think that strong female antagonist would have been prepared for a contingency like this. I mean, this force field might be able to deflect knives and fists, but I'm pretty sure it's not impenetrable. Maybe she brought along poison gas that could seep through the force field and choke him to death, or an explosive charge that would collapse the temple on top of his head, or a thermal detonator that would vaporize everything in the vicinity. I mean, they might not be the most elegant solutions, but if you've only got one chance to kill this guy, then you'd be wise to take any opportunity that you can. But nah, instead she's just like, well, I'm out of ideas.
You know, as a kid, and this is my first time talking about this, I've always thought with C-3PO's stiff walking and movements, I always thought they're like highly advanced compared to us. Why doesn't that robot move more fluidly? I can't have been the only person that thought that.
Ideas and runs away. This is where we hook up with strong female character number 1 and Squid Game guy, who get word of the assassination attempt from strong female character number 3 and set out to investigate. Meanwhile, strong female antagonist meets up with discount Ezra.
By the way, I don't know why his management would have let him take this part. He just got done becoming a superstar over here. I don't know if he became a superstar, but you know, his fame blew up over here because of Squid Games. And then you put him in this? Like, seriously? I mean, maybe he's on the bandwagon. You know what I mean? But there's no... Oh, my God. You just blew up over here. Why would you destroy... Possibly, you destroy your career by being in this. After the CEO of the company or wherever Bob Iger is said that they were going away from this. So now you're in a show that... basically makes him look like he's lying to us. It's just all, and it's horrible. I mean, I assume in all Star Wars may not be a big thing in all countries, Maybe he's not a fan. I just don't understand why his management would do this to him.
Miller, which I realise is a misleading name since it implies that Ezra Miller has any intrinsic value to begin with, but hey, at least he got there first. Anyway, Discount Ezra Miller's killed the owner of a local drugstore and taken over the place. Why? Don't know.
No.
But if your intention here is to operate covertly, then killing a local businessman and stealing his shop probably isn't the best way to go about it. I mean, people generally come to know local shop owners because they're an important part of the community, and if one of them was to go missing suddenly, then I'm pretty sure they'd start asking questions. And the first person they'd ask is the random arsehole that's suddenly squatting in his shop. Anyway, those are questions for a different show. A show written by functioning adults who actually understand cause and effect, and that's not what the Acolyte is about. So anyway, Discount Ezra Miller gives strong female antagonist a poison to kill token white guy, since weapons apparently don't work on him. Now, at first, I have to admit that I thought this was a good idea. Maybe it's some kind of airborne pathogen that his force field can't protect him from,
here it comes.
or acid strong enough to melt his fake beard off. But nah, it's just actual poison that he has to drink.
Well, that's definitely shite.
I don't think you really appreciate the dimensions of this particular problem, Discount Ezra Miller. If she can't physically reach him, then she can't force him to drink the poison, and so the mission's a bust. So, if we're assuming that he knew she was going to need that poison, which is why he took over the drugstore, then why the hell didn't he give this to her on her first attempt at killing this guy? Why did he wait for her to fail and then come back for more help? Isn't that just putting a massive target on your back? But that's okay, because I guess strong female antagonist has read the script already and knows that everything's going to work out fine. Now, you might think that if there'd been an assassination attempt on the local Jedi by someone who's already murdered at least one Jedi Master, it would make sense to beef up security around the temple, lock the place down, have armed guards stationed at every entry point, maybe even move token white guy to a more secure location. So it was refreshing to see that they did absolutely fuck all in this case, and the only thing that was beefed up around here was this body-positive individual. You know, I seem to recall reading that Jedi practice intense mental and physical discipline, training their bodies and minds to the very peak of their capabilities to give themselves the best possible chance in the event of armed conflicts. The thing is, mental and physical discipline are not words that come to mind when I look at the big lad here. No wonder token white guy lives in a force bubble for 10 years. The only thing I trust this guy to defend me from is an all-you-can-eat buffet. So Squid Game guy and strong female
buffet, that's what y'all say over there.
But they're too late to stop strong female antagonist who slips inside completely unopposed because everyone in this episode is retarded and gives token white.
I got a question I'm going to ask all my UK fans this. Maybe even Drinker will see this. So I've noticed that we have different ways of pronouncing things over here versus over there when you're speaking English. So one of the first things I noticed was vitamins. Okay. My question is this. In our dictionary over here, it is pronounced vitamins. Is it also pronounced vitamins over there, but you have a different dialect or accent or whatever, so you say vitamins instead of vitamins, even though you know it really is vitamins? Could that also be kind of like a similar reason as to, you know, you would hear certain singers coming up and they sound like they sing in perfect English. And then when they start talking to give their interview or at the end of their concert, thank you, New York, good night. And it's like, wait a minute. He sang like he lived right around here. But he sang in perfect English the way we're taught it in school. So help me out with that.
Guy the poison.
Buffet.
And he's like, well, guess it's time to die then, and promptly murders himself.
Yeah. I love this clip.
I don't understand what just took place here. Like, if token white guy places so little value on his own life, then why did he even resist strong female antagonist earlier? Why not just let her kill you? Jesus, even Carrie Ann Moss got to put up some kind of fight, but this chump just agreed.
Yeah, you know, another point. It's like really stupid that they killed Carrie Ann Moss. She's Trinity, one of the most popular female heroes of all time. And you kill her in the first 10 minutes of the show. She should have been the star of the show, really. If you really wanted to bring people in. I understand giving a no name a chance, but I mean, you guys are on the propaganda bandwagon and you kill the biggest star that you have for the show in the first 10 minutes. That would be equal to bringing in Keanu Reeves to play a Jedi and killing him in the first 10 minutes of the show. Why? Don't know.
Agrees to die without even a whimper.
Oh yes, that's shite.
Fuck off, token white guy, and take your stupid 1970s hairdo with you. Anyway, with their mission complete, you'd think it would make sense for strong female antagonist and discount Ezra Miller to get off the planet as quickly as possible. After all, they've done what they need to do here, and the Jedi are clearly onto them now, so there's no reason to stay here a second longer. But because everyone in this episode is retarded, they decide to hang around in the vicinity of the crime scene for absolutely no reason, which gives Squid Game guy and strong female character a chance to catch up to them by tracking the poison back to the only drugstore in the area, which discount Ezra Miller is conveniently still living in so that the rest of the plot can happen.
There we go.
I think at this point they would start to investigate what common factor links the two Jedi victims, like a past mission that they went on together, for example. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure that's basic police procedure when dealing with serial killers like this, trying to understand what connects the victims. Anyway, this is when something happens which is so monumentally dumb, it makes everything else in this episode look like a Christopher Nolan movie by comparison. Strong female character decides that it's best to go into the shop posing...
Yeah, by the way, she's not intimidating whatsoever. And, you know, there's certain female heroes that you see. And they're, you know, as a man, you're kind of like, you know, I really wouldn't want to run into her. Like Trinity in The Matrix. You wouldn't want to run into her. Her command over the Matrix is very high level. You wouldn't want to run into her. You look at Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. I wouldn't want to run into her. She's borderline insane at this point. She's military trained with several different weapons. I just wouldn't want. I know she wouldn't overpower me. But she'd probably take me out with a gun or a knife or a billy club or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know, I wouldn't want to run into Vasquez. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I think Vasquez could overpower me and beat me down? No, but I think I may leave limping. You know what I mean? There's just certain characters where it's like, you know, she's not intimidating whatsoever.
A strong female antagonist so that she can get a confession from discount Ezra Miller about what happens. Why can't you just go in there, arrest him, and use that forced mind reading trick from the first episode to rip the information you need right out of his head? Why are you wasting time with this ridiculous contrived bullshit? Why doesn't discount Ezra Miller immediately realise that something's up when his friend starts acting like a completely different person and asking probing questions about stuff that they both already know? Why does nothing in this show make any sense? The thing is, this is exactly what dumb male characters suggested, and it was played off as some ridiculous plan and shot down immediately by strong female character number 2, when in reality it was a much more logical and reliable way of getting the information they need. Anyway, so the gang spring their idiotic trap and Squid Game guy gets into a martial arts battle with strong female antagonist, because that's apparently how fighting gets done in Star Wars now, and then she escapes by knocking some dust in their faces.
You went full retard.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that. And strong female character tries to stop her with a stun gun, but misses for some reason, like she's really conflicted by this whole thing. It's a stun gun, you fucking moron. It's designed to stun people without harming them. You're not being asked to kill her. There's no moral dilemma to any of this.
You know what's funny? I think I saw something and somebody was talking about, like, you know, they haven't seen each other in years. They don't know that they're both alive, and yet they have the same haircut. Like, which is kind of stupid. Kind of is, but it kind of isn't. And I assume that I only know this because, you know, like a psychology professor was telling us a story, and he was actually a twin that was reunited with a twin. And he said when he met his twin, they had the same haircut. And he said they both had white cars. So 2 different cars, but both had white cars. And he said their wives looked very similar. So I thought that was interesting. So when I saw this and then I heard someone say that they've got the same haircut, I'm like, well, yeah, it's possible, but like I get it. Like, what are the chances they're gonna have the same haircut? But a lot of twins happen to be. I've seen a few things on twins. Twins sometimes can be so similar that they're almost the same person, like literally. And then sometimes they're like different, really different, even though they look exactly the same. So yeah.
It's just stun her, apprehend her, and then pick up the pieces later. But instead, she lets her go so that the rest of the plot can happen.
Son of a
Then strong female antagonist links back up with discount Ezra Miller and decides to trust him again, despite the fact that he told the Jedi their entire plan and has definitely compromised their mission beyond any hope of completion because everyone in this episode is retarded. They say that characters are only as smart as the people writing them, and I think the Acolyte is a perfect demonstration of that. Nobody in this show acts with anything even approaching common sense or logic. People make completely incongruous decisions that actively work against their own interests for no other.
What's the whole story with Leslie Headland? One thing you've never heard me say, but I've noticed because I've watched a lot of videos, is that a lot of people are like, look, this chick was with Harvey Weinstein. She was his assistant. Don't tell me she didn't know anything. She's probably a culprit. All this other stuff I've heard people say. What's that whole story with that? As far as trial and all that, did it come out that she knew? She didn't know? And I know people would say, yeah, when you're an assistant, like you're so close to them handling everything, you've got to know something. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's why I really don't touch that, because I don't know anything about that. But just let me know, guys. Okay? Because I know one of the reasons why, besides it being horrible that it's flopping, is a lot of people are saying, this chick, I'm not watching anything that she's making. Like, that's what a lot of people are saying.
Other reason than to keep this absurd parody of a story trundling forwards. The problem with a murder mystery plot is that you actually have to build up and maintain a mystery to keep the audience invested, and it's pretty difficult to do that when every character spills their guts about everything that's happening at the very first opportunity, and all the major players are so completely boring and unlikable that you don't even care who lives or dies anyway. Everything about this episode is idiotic, childly simplistic, and so badly implemented that it's not just ham-fisted, it's sausage-fingered and bacon-wristed. It's a textbook example of people hired for their identity rather than their talent, reaching for something that's far beyond their intellectual grasp, and blowing hundreds of millions of dollars in the process. The Acolyte is a show made by idiots, intended for morons, which even the most die-hard Star Wars fanboys would struggle to defend at this point. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
I think I'm going to grow my hair out and get the kilt monger just to see what it looks like on me. I'm going to like have some fake braids like braided into my head. I'm not going to take the years to grow the hair. I'm just going to see what it looks like. I should do a bunch of videos like that, like on a whole, like, what's the word? Like just a whole parody of all the characters and stuff that they do and how they give us all the same. Oh, God.